So you might have seen my office and how minimal it is in my previous setup tour video. And now I'm gonna show you how I set up all my streaming gear. And when I set everything up, it looks like a bomb has gone off in this room. Well, at least off camera. Before I started making YouTube videos, I started streaming, building keyboards on Twitch. I do this for my friends and keyboard designers. And doing this was the first domino that fell that led me to start creating more videos on YouTube. This is the third and final video in this mini series where I'm walking through my office and how I've set everything up. And this is the final piece of that puzzle where I'm gonna walk through all my streaming gear. Everything I go over today will be linked in the description below. Because I love a minimal space, I do set up and tear down all of the streaming gear before and after stream. This probably seems like a process, and it is, but I've gotten very efficient at it, and it takes around 30 minutes each way. There are two main reasons for this. One is that it would be super distracting having everything set up all the time. There's a lot of cables, a lot of gear. And two, I work from home next to my girlfriend, so I just want to make sure the space is tidy. All right, so we're going to start off with all of the gear I use to set up and rig my lighting and camera. Before I start, don't skimp on this stuff. The last thing you want is to have some brittle stand where your camera is going to fall. Not a fun thing to happen. With a lot of these things, there are load capacities, so do your due diligence and research these things before you start buying, because A, you don't want to return things, B, you just want to make sure everything works well. C-stands are your best friend here. I have two. And before I used two of them, I tried mounting my camera in the window. I had a matha pole and it worked, kinda. One time I set up all my streaming gear, I went to go get dinner before I started, and I came home to my camera and it had fallen and swung into my monitor, and I thought I lost both, but luckily I didn't. Yeah, that really caused some anxiety for sure. Like I said, I use two C-stands, one for my lighting, one for my camera, and it's key to counterweight these things. So I have a 20-pound sandbag for the light and a 25-pound sandbag for my top-down camera. They come with a nice clamp, so you can really customize your setup however you'd like. For my top-down camera, I'm using this cine milled baby pin with a Benro GX30 ball head. Shout out to my homie Tyler for recommending the ball head. It's been phenomenal. It has a load capacity of 66 pounds, so I'm not worried about it malfunctioning and ruining my camera. Also a lot of room for adjustment, so you can get that perfect angle. And then for my light, I'm just using a baby pin. These are very popular in the cinematography rigging world, but I've just screwed on my light here. I'm using a Aperture 120D2 Lightstorm. I got it secondhand because they've discontinued this, but I'd highly recommend seeing if there's any cheaper options out there like this one. I've tried a number of different solutions with soft boxes, other things similar to that, but the best solution for me is to actually bounce it off the wall and the ceiling. That way I don't have to use two light sources and can use a mix of natural light and a fill light. Pro tip for all of the setup for this, you want to make sure that you're at least at a 45-degree angle or above. If you think about it, if you're at a flat angle, it's going to have a tendency to want to fall down. So as straight as possible or at that angle is going to be best. Okay, on to the exciting part, the cameras. Since my last streaming tour video, I have upgraded both of my cameras, and the reason for this is to get 10-bit video. My main camera and the one I use for YouTube videos, and the one I'm talking at right now, is a Sony a7C II. I have a Sigma 28 to 72.8 lens on here, and my face camera is a Sony 6700 with a kit lens. My main camera is the one I use for my top down, as well as all my photos on Instagram, and then the face camera is just primarily used for streaming. To power the cameras, I have these dummy batteries from Newer, so I don't have to think about charging batteries ahead of stream or worry about my camera actually dying when I'm live. To connect these to my PC, I am using these Cable Matter micro HDMI to HDMI cables. And one thing you have to worry about when you're using 2 or more mirrorless cameras is how to actually connect those to your PC. At first, I was just using a Cam Link from Elgato, and I have since had to get a Cam Link Pro. What this does is it slots into my motherboard and allows me to have up to 4 mirrorless cameras, and they are all marked accordingly in my software, so it's very easy to know which one I'm actually trying to set up. If you're streaming on a Mac, I honestly don't know the best solution, so this is really related to PC, but I know there are a number of folks who actually use Mac just fine. Because I've gone over this in my setup tour video, I'm not going to harp on my audio stuff too much, but I'm using a PreSonus Quantum HD2 as my interface. I love PreSonus because this is very easy to manage all of my streaming settings. I'm able to listen to music on stream and then cut that very easily for the VOD that gets uploaded to YouTube, so it never gets flagged for DCMA. But then you obviously hear me breathing, so if you are going to watch my VODs, definitely play music in the background. As far as my mic, I am using a Sennheiser MKH50, so it's out of my face and I'm not worried about when I go like this, the audio levels get really crazy. If you're trying to get into streaming, the software I would recommend is OBS. This is tremendously going to increase your quality, the integrations, and the customization of everything you probably want to figure out. Cannot recommend this enough. And also, I would bet a lot of money that your favorite streamer probably uses OBS to manage everything. You can customize things like your colors, your fonts, overlays, etc. Yeah, that wraps everything up. I know this is a little bit quicker of a video than my last 2, but let me know if you've watched all 3 videos and if you have any other questions about how I've figured out this space. If you would like to come over and say hi while I'm building a board over on Twitch, I will link my channel in the description. I have no schedule and it's pretty sporadic, but it's super fun. Want to thank everyone again for your support, being here. It means so much. And as always, I hope to see y'all in the next one.